for evidence, and they will give you none, because it doesn't exist.
Meet Yasmina. Yasmina is listed as a victim of Andrew Tate in the first human trafficking case against the Tate brothers. She has came out publicly once again to declare that she is not a victim. I'm going to debunk some lies that I believe she's been instructed to tell, show you why I believe she was directed to make this video, and show you why, in my opinion, it is clear that she was trafficked by Andrew Tate. But first, let's take a look at this video she uploaded last week in full and discuss.
Guys, Jasmine here again. As you all know, I was one of the victims in the Tate brothers case that just got dismissed.
Immediately, there's a series of lies I have to correct that I think she's telling at the direction of the Tates. Firstly, with her repeating the Tate's most embarrassing lie of all, that the case has been dismissed. Despite the recent claims of both brothers that their case had been dismissed, both Andrew and Tristan in the past week have contradicted this themselves on Twitter, with Andrew crying to the US ambassador of Romania that he's banned from travelling or leaving Romania, and Tristan crying that he'll be locked away over Christmas in a foreign country without his passports. Why? Because the case isn't dismissed.
The last 2 years have been so horrible and tough on me, I can't even imagine what the guys must have been through. I was threatened by Tate not to talk about the case and expose the corruption. They have even offered me money to declare that I was somehow a victim of crimes that never even happened.
Next in the video, Yasmina says that she was threatened not to comment on the case and offered money to say that she was a victim of crimes. She's saying both of these things in a very misleading way when there's very obvious explanations for them. Firstly, it's pretty obvious that she would have been firmly told by authorities not to make one of these videos, because she's done it multiple times before. And we know for a fact that she was told to do them by Andrew Tate and directed what to say by Andrew. How do we know this? Because the self-proclaimed smartest man on the planet, Andrew Tate, was caught recorded on the jail phones instructing his cousin Luke to get Yasmina and some of the other women to make these videos, even directing them what to say. As for Yasmina claiming that she was offered money, she's talking as if she was offered a bribe, which is not true. You can see that some of the victims in the case are listed as what is called injured parties. An injured party in the case is entitled to financial compensation if the Tate brothers are convicted of committing crimes against them. Yasmina was offered this because there is evidence of the Tates committing crimes against her, which I will get into later. Yasmina refused to become an injured party in the case, which is her right, and that is why, as she puts it, she was offered money to say she was a victim.
As a woman, it's horrible to be named a victim of human trafficking, having people assume that I'm a drug addicted and a prostitute. I was never a victim, and I've said that day one. What the court have put me through was horrible, and I thought they were supposed to stop crimes, stop criminals, and actually save victims instead of naming them when they say, I'm not. I told them the 2 other girls were complete liars and that they have done this before and that they were false accusers. Day one, I've said that, and they still listed me as a victim anyway. And right now, I'm really, really happy for the outcome of the case, and I can't wait to see Andrew and Tristan again. I will be finally able to sleep better at night now that the court aren't harassing me anymore. Hopefully, this will all be over, completely over soon. And as I said, this is an international scandal, and I hope the whole world pays attention because it's serious. It's not a joke. And I do not wish anyone, not even my worst enemies, to ever go through what I have gone through and what they have gone through.
Throughout the rest of this video, Yasmina repeated some of the Tate's tired old lies, saying that 2 of the victims are false accusers and have done this before, which is not true. There is no evidence of either of those women ever claiming to be victims of human trafficking. She says that she's tried to say she's not a victim and they refuse to remove her. For any of the Tate's younger fans watching, this is not how criminal human trafficking cases work. There is one accuser in this case. Decot. The authorities found evidence of crimes being committed against women, compiled a case, and are going through the process of bringing it to trial. Andrew Tate, directing one of the victims in the case to make a video saying she's not a victim, is not going to get her removed from the case in this criminal investigation. Before I show you the clear evidence of Yasmina being a victim of human trafficking, I'll address a few of her lies in some of her previous videos to give you an idea of how over the past few years she's been doing these videos lying for the Tates. Look at this video that Yasmina posted in August 2023, talking about text messages calling each other slaves.
People are so boring. The whole case is a bunch of nonsense based on stupidity. Oh my god, no, they found conversations where they used to call you a slave. So what? They deduce that they are human traffickers out of some messages? I'm sorry, but where are the messages where I used to call Andrew a fatso? Because I will sometimes do that. That will make me look like a bully. Am I a bully? No. Am I a slave? No. Take the phrase go to hell. If you say go to hell to someone, yeah, you can mean it in a rude way, but you can also go to hell. And it's the beauty of irony. It's 2023. Yeah, sometimes you will go and tell me, go make me a coffee, and I'll go, oh my god, you're treating me like a slave. Again, it's the beauty of irony. And to be fair, I can't wait for this whole case to be over and the cops stop being idiots so I can go back to my life, go back to making Andrew coffee and being able to call each other for stupid names like slave and fatso and idiot. Honestly, it's just stupid.
Yasmina refers to Tristan calling some of the women slaves, writing it off as no different to her calling Andrew fatso or telling someone to go to hell. An argument which is coincidentally very similar to this one that Tristan made to a reporter last year.
Tristan, you said slave those b****s. Yes, I am. Slave the b****s.
So
Do you still believe that?
What's it? So you get the indictment, right?
Yeah,
Which is supposed to be evidence that I'm a human trafficker.
correct.
And I called my ex-girlfriend, who says I'm innocent, a slave in the file. That's the big bombshell. Aren't you
Slave those b****s. Did you say that or
Aren't
not?
you underwhelmed?
Did you say that or not?
Did I call my ex-girlfriend a slave in the indictment?
You said slave those
She is fighting for my innocence, and she knows I'm innocent. She's told all the judges and courts in Decot that I'm innocent.
In reality, the reference to slaves that they speak of come from audio messages that Tristan Tate sent to Luana and Georgiana, managers of the Tate fans operation and co-defendants in the trafficking case, where he said the following: mainly, I'm going to slave these b****s, and I don't want to write the MyFreeCams score, so when they start not performing on MyFreeCams, or stagnate, or after they're done video chatting, after they're all the chips can be taken out of the room, I'm going to change it and make them do more hours and hours and hours. I'm slaving over these. No, slave work, minimum 10 or 12 hours a day. It is pretty clear this was not Tristan joking with his girlfriend, or the equivalent of Yasmina calling Andrew fatso. Yasmina has also repeated another of Andrew Tate's favourite and most embarrassing reoccurring lies, that his human trafficking case is all about him helping his friends post videos on TikTok. Yasmina even told a Romanian television network that she never worked for the Tates and that she was just a social media influencer on TikTok and Instagram.
Are you working for Tristan Tate and
No.
Andrew Tate?
I've never worked for them or with them. We're just very, very close, and I am working on TikTok and Instagram. I'm working as an influencer.
Yasmina can repeat Andrew's script that she's merely an influencer on TikTok and Instagram. Unfortunately, there is extensive evidence that she was producing pornography on OnlyFans, including the Twitter account she was using to promote her OnlyFans in 2022. with post after post after post still up promoting her OnlyFans page. The last of these clips I want to show is from her original Andrew Tate defense video, which she posted on the 22nd of January 2023.
We have been given 3 statements so far, clearly saying we are not victims and we have never worked with or for Andrew and Tristan Tate in any way, but our statements keep getting thrown away. The police don't care about the truth. They don't listen to neither me nor Beatrice.
When we hear Yasmina talk about her statements being removed and not accepted by DCOT, the first thing we need to do is keep in mind how I've showed you the extent in which she will lie for and defend Andrew Tate. We see Yasmina recording these videos in Dubai because, according to the evidence in Romania, she and Beatrice were transported to Dubai after the December 2022 arrest, where they remain under the control of the Tates and producing explicit content. As for some of her statements being disregarded, we know that this is because in her statements to DCOT, Yasmina told a series of clear and provable lies to protect Andrew. For example, she told them that she had just visited the Tates on vacation, that she started posting content on TikTok and fans focusing on TikTok, and that she kept all of the earnings and didn't pay anyone a percentage. She claimed to have just met Georgiana and didn't know what she did for a living, and that she had both the Tate brothers' phone numbers but barely had contact with them. For every single one of these statements, we have clear public evidence that they are untrue. Some which will become clear now that I show you why I believe that Yasmina is clearly a victim of human trafficking. First, let's look at some group chat messages leaked from Andrew Tate's war room. These are 100% verified as genuine. They've been verified and reported on by the BBC and Rolling Stone and are set to be used as evidence in the second case in Romania. I have to shout out these 2 Substack articles by Crabman. Crabman initially leaked these group chat conversations and has been banned from Twitter ever since. I'll include a link to his Substack in the description, where he shares a bunch of damning group chat messages that show the Tates and their inner circle strategizing about how they would traffic women into webcam and fans. I'll reference this now historic thread by Crayon Murders, where he breaks down to the group step by step how he was coercing and trafficking Yasmina. First, Andrew tells the group how Yasmina had lost her support networks at home, which cemented her move to Bucharest. Andrew says he needs to tighten the screw. So he made up a story that someone from her old hometown told him that she works at a club. Andrew says he made this up from the sky. You can see in the text exchange between Andrew and Yasmina, which Andrew shared with the group, that Yasmina was distraught, saying that she was crying alone in a room. After posting those text messages, Andrew tells the group that he started calling her a liar based on his made-up story and threatened to kick her out. He says the real goal is for her to agree to never go anywhere without him, not even her hometown. He says I need her working, not visiting friends back in her hometown. So putting nails in that coffin by saying my people in that town are talking bad about her. You can see in their text exchanges, Andrew telling Yasmina you are never going back to your hometown, even to visit, without me. Understand? Yasmina replies with yes, I understand. Andrew shows the group chat a text message from Yasmina, telling him she will never send a picture of her in lingerie ever, that she made a promise to God and herself and she will keep it, that she will never do video chat or OnlyFans, because her body is intimate and only her husband should be able to touch and see, among some other ground rules she had. Tate shared this with the group chat, said sounds like a hard target for webcam or fans, right? And started taking bets. Tate tells the group he's going to add a layer of separation. He says he will use Georgiana as the BB, what he calls a bottom bitch, to encourage Yasmina to do fans and pretend he doesn't care either way, so she can't attack him for tricking her. Andrew tells the group, since she's moved, she's been fed but nothing else. She's broke, and she can't go home, and she can't leave the house. Man, I almost sound evil, but I'm not. I'm a shepherd leading the sheep, and she doesn't realize that following me makes life better for her. Andrew talks more to the group about how he plans to use Georgiana as the bottom bitch to convince her that he doesn't give a shit if she cams, but the only way that she will ever have serious money is if she does. Andrew says he's giving her no negotiating room. It's comply or goodbye. Tate then talks to the group about how if she refuses to do webcam, he will kick her out and use her as a tool to cement the love of the other girl in the house. We also see evidence of Yasmina being a victim of human trafficking throughout the indictment for the case in Romania. Witnesses say she would be verbally abused and threatened by Luana and Georgiana if she didn't do her job. She was forced to sign a document stating that if she didn't earn $10,000 a month on TikTok, that she would forfeit all of her TikTok earnings to Georgiana. Witness testimony in the indictments confirmed what we heard from Andrew, that Yasmina was not allowed to leave the house alone. In the WhatsApp messages in evidence that they have pulled directly from their devices, we can see Yasmina being the clear target of violent threats to keep her producing content on OnlyFans. We can see Luana tell her that she'll kill her if they don't make money. We see Georgiana tell her that if she doesn't make 10 videos that day, she'll punch her in the mouth, and that she'll tear her apart when she arrives. In another exchange, we can see Georgiana tell her that she is going to pull all of the teeth out of her mouth, that she won't escape her. Georgiana goes on to tell her in capitalized letters that instead of the breast implant surgery that was planned for her, she was going to end up in the morgue. She warns Yasmina that if Andrew checks and she hasn't posted any TikToks, that she won't have time to pack her bags and that she'll be flying off the balcony directly. This tattoo of Yasmina's is also referenced in the indictment, which we can clearly see says the words, Tate owned. This is the young woman who tells us that she's a victim of nothing. It doesn't matter how many of those scripted videos that Andrew Tate gets Yasmina to post. There is a staggering amount of overwhelming evidence that she was trafficked into sex work by Andrew Tate. For me, there's conflicting feelings about Yasmina. These videos she posts and these lies she publicly tells are clearly causing harm and hurting other victims. Yet, she clearly is a victim, and I believe has been brainwashed by Tate. To finish this video, we have an insight from someone who has been through something very similar to Yasmina. Rose, which is an alias, is a survivor of human trafficking who I've interviewed on my channel before. Rose was trafficked into the red light district in Langstrasse, Zurich, when she was just 18 years old. Rose's pimp was convicted for trafficking women into street prostitution. At the hands of her pimp and his female enforcers, Rose experienced many of the same tactics that we've seen the Tates use against Yasmina, like coercion, manipulation, isolation, violence, threats of violence, blackmail, and more. I asked Rose why she thinks Yasmina is doing the things she's doing, uploading these videos and defending the Tates in the way she is.
I mean, honestly, when I do see her videos, I am quite conflicted. I don't see it as black and white. I see it as gray, because we do have to keep in mind, we've seen step by step how she was manipulated by Andrew. He literally manipulated her. He isolated her from her family, from her loved ones. He lied to her. He told her, hey, I heard that you're working in a sex club. And then you can see her reaction. She was like, no, that's not true, because it wasn't true. And the way I see Yasmina, I feel lots and lots of compassion for her, because she is a victim of abuse, of human trafficking, of manipulation. And I know that emotional abuse is when a person attempts to control another by destroying their sense of self-worth, their personal agency, everything around them. And then we see how he slowly starts to manipulate her. And a prolonged manipulation can have a deep and lasting effect on a person's mental, emotional, and even honestly physical well-being. This person, like Yasmina, and all the other girls who were manipulated, they are unable to make decisions of their own independently. They're conditioned to rely on Andrew's and Tristan's approval and guidance. But at this point, they just became codependent to Tristan's and Andrew's approval. And we see that in many people who have PTSD, who came out of domestic violence, in marriages, months and years, and it's the same with Yasmina and all the other girls. You cannot even recognize Yasmina when you watch her videos right now. And the girl who has been in the chat log talking with Andrew, who was saying, I'm a Christian girl and I respect my body. And I think that's why I do have a huge empathy for her, because I did saw this firsthand. I mean, I lived in Langshasa for 5 months with this type of woman. And for me, personally, I was trafficked for 5 months, only 5 months, and I wasn't even in love with my pimp. I actually hated him, but I became so codependent with him because I was so isolated in Langshasa that he was the only thing I had, which the same with Yasmina, because there in the meat factory, which I called, she only had Andrew. You know, she already didn't talk with her family. She didn't have any money. And also for me, I became so codependent to my pimp, even. And after 5 months, I was afraid. I was so sorry to report him to the police because I felt sorry for him. Even though in the first week when he trafficked me, I was ready to fight tooth and nail. But then, you know, I got manipulated. And I cannot even imagine Yasmina. Imagine coming from a broken home. Probably she was in her. She was in her early 20s, and she comes to Andrew and Tristan, these famous internet rich. Hence, we have to say someone had some guys. She was just spawned into their web. She fell in love with them. Every day she seeks her approval, and let me tell you, there's a lot and a lot of jealousy between the girls and the pimp. Between the girls.
This hold that Andrew clearly has over her, what do you think it will take for her to break free from that and realize that she is a victim, or that perhaps even realize that these videos that she's put out are hurting potentially other people and other women?
I mean, I think it's very difficult. It's a very long process. For me, it took years. And for her, what I can say is therapy, and also for her to be exposed to the truth, for her to look through every single war room chat log, everything that was said about her, everything that was said about other women, to go to therapy, and also to open up to her loved ones. And I know even if she doesn't realize it, even if she doesn't say, there's lots of shame and lots of guilt inside of her, because deep down inside of her heart, she knew that this was wrong, that this is not who she is. And I don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen, but more for sure, we know that the Tates either they're going to be, locked up. And now what's going to happen to their favorite girls? And to Yasmina, what happened to me, it was therapy, it was seeking help from my loved ones, and to not feel shame and guilt anymore, because I'm pretty sure she has lots of shame and guilt, which she had to bury underneath. There was no time for her to say, oh my God, you know what, Andrew, I don't think I like this. There was no one to talk to. Who's Georgina, who threatened to kick you out of the balcony? Who? Tristan, who said, slave these bitches? Who's? There was no one, even if she felt a moment of grief for her old life, she couldn't have expressed that. Other girls are competing, for his love and his attention, and all of them thinks that they're their favorite. So I'm sure that's how she's coping at this moment. I really hope that one day she can get out of the grip of the Tate brothers, especially what Andrew did to her. When someone is so longly, especially with prolonged, gaslighting, manipulation, love bombing, I'm sure she lost her a sense of self, and she struggles to recognize her own needs, desires, and values. I'm sure at one point she also forgot who she was at one point, and I genuinely hope that once this is all over, that she will find her way back to herself. I really hope the best for her.
When it comes to Andrew Tate, there is always more than meets the eye. It doesn't matter how many of these videos that Andrew directs Yasmina to make, there is clear evidence that Yasmina is a victim of human trafficking. And there is clear evidence that Andrew Tate is a disgusting human trafficker. Please share this video to get the word out there for anyone who has been convinced by Yasmina's propaganda videos. For my regular viewers, it will be obvious that I've had some help with editing on this video. I'd like to make this an ongoing upgrade in quality, and for that to be possible, I'll need some support. If you're unable to help financially, subscribing, liking and sharing my videos is more than enough and appreciated. But if you're able to help, you can join as a member starting at $3.99 a month, or buy Gadget a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/gadget440.